Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are writing history. It's the first time the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship has set the tents here at Tor Poznań. We are so excited. First time here in Poland for every one of us, 270 kilometers east of Berlin. And as you can see, the paddock is packed. The fans are here and everyone is so excited. We are ahead of race number 1, so we do see some pretty good action. Everyone is getting set. The qualifying Super Pole was very interesting, but we sure have a pole setter 55 times. It's Norbert Kisch again. Not a big surprise, but of course we will see some surprises today, aren't we? So we'll have a look at the paddock, and we do welcome our 3 commentators. We do provide you with 3 live streams with Chas Draycott, our English commentator, it's Fonsi Cebrian, our Spanish commentator, and it's Joachim Eberts, our German commentator. So welcome to you 3 guys, and we have a look at the paddock.
Yes, indeed, everybody. Hello, Chas Draycott here over in the UK, commentating on the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship from Tor Poznań. As Christina mentioned there, it's fantastic to be here at this circuit for the first time in the championship's history. And it's a circuit that does go back quite a long way, but only really got resurfaced and properly revitalised back in 2006, and has hosted quite a lot of events since then. But it's the biggest championship in the world right now, and that's in terms of the racing vehicles that will come here to bring the thunder, it's safe to say, for this amazing circuit, located right next to Poznań Airport as well, actually. It's a wonderful place to go if you enjoy your racing machines and your aircraft as well. There's a fantastic array of machines in the paddock, as well as you see there on the right-hand side is our Krona E-trailer from the Mission Record Run. They're going to be taking it all around Europe for us this season, and they're going to be setting lap records around different racing circuits for a truck, a tractor unit as such, and a trailer as well. We saw it in person at Misano, or I saw it in person in Misano anyway, and it was unbelievably fast, that thing. So it's exciting to have them with us. Thank you to Krona for providing their support for the series and coming around Europe with us on this fantastic tour. There is one of our beautiful MANs, the number 23 machine of Antonio Albacete. He's going to be starting this race from 4th on the grid. He's alongside Sascha Lenz on the 2nd row. There are some of Sascha's team just checking out the handiwork of the MAN. Of course, both teams running MANs for this season. But let's have a quick look back at the highlights of qualifying. For those of you that didn't see it, it was a very interesting session. So we'll take a look at some of our best pictures from that session. Everybody headed out for the very first qualifying session ever here at Tor Poznań. And with the usual proceedings at the front, it was Norbert Kisch who set a lap time at the very start of qualifying 1 and did not need to go back out from then on. Everybody was jostling for the right part of the circuit, but ultimately a number of them would come in and be happy with their times. That left about 4 or 5 trucks out there that were looking to get back into or not drop out of the top 10. Lucas Hahn involved in that, Jonathan Andre, John Newell also trying to get the best times on the board. Heinrich Clemens Hecker went on a push for a couple of laps as well, but ultimately could not get himself out of that bottom 5 spots. We've got 15 trucks here this weekend, and after having 12 at the Slovakia ring, it makes such a difference having those extra 3 because of the fact that they have to push hard, as you saw Jonathan Andre there, pushing very hard to get into the top 10. It's not easy to do in this championship though, with how competitive it is and how close it is between all of our drivers. Everybody lined up to then get themselves out for Super Pole, where it was going to be a question once again of whether anybody could stop Norbert Kisch in the red number 1 machine and see whether the reigning champion could be knocked off the top spot in a qualifying session. But he would, of course, take pole position once again, his 55th pole position of his career, as Christina rightly mentioned, and his 5th pole position of this season. 5 out of 5 for Norbert Kisch from Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz. It's going to be trucks 1, 2 and 3 in the top 3 positions, with Antonio Albacete and Jamie Anderson behind. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez apparently getting a time thrown out for overspeeding, but it seems like he will still be starting from 7th on the grid. I think there was just a slight improvement time that basically got removed for him. But back down now to live pictures, and as you see, it's wonderful conditions down there, and we have Christina, who's on a bit of a walk to try and see what sort of drivers we can speak to.
Absolutely, and we start top of the league then. We start with Norbert Kisch, also in a chat with Csaba Barkó. This seems quite nice. Hello, gentlemen. That seems quite nice right now. You're relaxed and we're ahead of race number 1. Are you feeling well prepped?
Yes, everything is very good so far, and all the free practices and the qualifying was nice as well. So, we can be a little bit optimistic, but, it's always a challenge, the start always very, very tight, and I'm sure the guys will push a lot to try to catch me, but, we will try to stay ahead.
Catch me if you can, that's the motto, Szaba. So, new track. We're here in Poland for the first time, which means for you also technical side, some slight issues to deal with. How was it going?
Yeah, the new circuit is, of course, always nice to include new locations to the championship, so it's nice to be here. We are really grateful that we can be here, but of course it has its own challenges. We have to find a new setup from blank, so we spend the free practices with it, but I can say I think we are in a good way now.
Sounds good. Take your time, relaxing, and then it's racing action. So we just have a walk, because it's grid time walk. That means some personnel is here, and of course you at home got the VIP ticket with us. As you can see, this is Team Hahn Racing also lining up here, and we're trying to catch the second interview for you. Until that, see you. Cheers.
Thanks very much, Christina. It's nice and sunny actually down there on the grid. It's looking good. You can see just how dry it's been recently near Poznań in Poland. It's been hot conditions all over quite a lot of Europe recently, of course, as we go into summer. But there's a wonderful grandstand there for everybody to watch. That's just on the outside of turns 3 and 4. So as you go down to the corner known as Devil's Smile, which is turn 3, it's a big, heavy braking zone, and more than 90 degrees, actually, that corner. It's almost like a hairpin that leads down a small straight in towards turn 4, so the fans get a fantastic view down there of a hard braking zone, and then suddenly trucks trying to jostle for position for the next corner as they get a good run out of turn 3. It's going to be a great spot to be. And we're going to go back down to Christina, who's found her own great spot to be in as well, with an interview lined up for us.
It's absolutely amazing to be down here, and as you can see, you've got Jochen Hahn alongside Antonio Albacete. I mean, this is just greatness in front of me. So this is a new track. We're for the first time here in Poland. You can see the fans, they're excited. How excited are you?
No, we enjoy to stay here. It's a fantastic track from the corner. We love it, maybe. Not maybe, we love it.
Got the baby out. And again, no, he said he absolutely loved the track. What are your first experience here at Poznań? Of course, after the qualifying and seeing the track in this great conditions.
Yeah, I think it's quite good. I mean, it's interesting, it's challenging, this track. And yeah, I think that there is a lot of people coming. So I think it's a great atmosphere. Yeah, we enjoy it, for sure.
Sounds great, and we do enjoy see you racing in just a couple of minutes. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely, no underestimation there from Christina. There is real greatness on our grid right there. The two drivers you just saw, Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete, have I can clearly not do maths today. 9 titles between them, over 130 pole positions, and between them over 500, actually make that even more than that, nearly 600 podiums between the pair of them, over 1,100 starts as well, and over 200 race victories between them. They are two of the absolute kings of the statistics ladder here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and it's wonderful to still have them on the grid with us. We have 3 title winners on the grid. Of course, Norbert Kish, 4-time champion now as well, on his way to 100 victories, which potentially could get this season, but we might have to wait till 2024 to see that. But still, some of the numbers that we have in this championship are colossal, not only from the machines themselves, but the achievements of our fantastic, fantastic drivers. And the statistics as well come in handy when it comes to the fans. We've obviously got a big turnout here. Antonio mentioned it just there, that they've noticed a great turnout for this event, which is lovely to see. And I really do urge you to go and see one of these championship events in person if you can. It would be wonderful to have you with us. It's always good fun. But anyway, we're going to welcome our wonderful TV viewers in just a moment's time. So I'm going to go quiet. We're going to introduce them, and we'll be back with you in just a second, everybody.
Dzień dobry, ladies and gentlemen, and hello to our Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship fans around the world. We are here for the first time at Tor Poznań. We're here in Poland and so happy to finally see the venue and all the fans here in the paddock. We're so glad to be here for the first time and we're enjoying truck racing so much. As you can see, the race is going on, race number 1, and we're so happy to be here finally. 14 turns, 4.083 kilometers of pure action. So let's have a go.
Yes, indeed. Hello, everybody. Chaz Draycott here for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Welcome to all of our wonderful TV viewers from all around the world. And thank you, of course, to those that are watching on our live streams and, well, sticking with us throughout the whole thing. It's great to be here at this fantastic venue, though, at Tor Poznań for the first time. And we've got Christina down there on the grid and in the paddock, getting all of the close-up action for us as I commentate here remotely from the UK. As you can see, conditions are very wonderful at the moment. There's a bit of wind in the air. It's quite a flat area, despite all of the trees and the greenery around it. It's right next to Poznań Airport as well, so as you'd expect, it is very flat and windy. But still, hopefully not too windy for Christina, who's down there on the grid for us.
No, absolutely not. It's absolutely perfect. As you can see, the spectators over here, they're also cheering up. The grid walk is over, but they need to get into the trucks. As you can see, Jamie Anderson, we will join him right now as he enters his racing seat. Always elegantly, of course, as we can see. Jamie, if you're ready to just give us a quick update on the gearbox. You've changed it.
Yeah, we changed the gearbox after qualifying. We had a problem, we had a bit of a problem yesterday, but we thought it would resolve itself. And this morning we were struggling a bit more, you know, and the team did fantastic. We changed the gearbox in 30 minutes. You know, great team effort, and just shows that what we can do in the time against the clock, you know. And the guys did brilliantly, and we see how we go on from here. We're in a comfortable position, and we can hopefully build from here.
We show you the pictures right now. You've spared a crane. This is also good team effort here at the venue, of course. As you can see, the time was, the clock was ticking. It is also right now for you. What are your last thoughts ahead of a race? What do you go through in your mind, except from speaking to us, obviously?
Where I'm going to ever take off the start. You know, I'm very strong on the start, and just looking here, it looks very tight, but for sure, you know, every time I give the fans something to look forward to, and if I can make a move, I'll make a move.
Thank you very much. We're grateful that he had the time for us to talk while it was like, yeah, putting up on his helmet. So as you can see, the gearbox has changed in only 30 minutes. That's quite an achievement from all the team. And yeah, I talked about the crane, because there are 2 or 3 cranes here and everybody is sharing it. So if you need a helping hand around here, you always find someone. And if I need a helping hand, I can always hand over to Chaz and our commentators.
Thank you very much, Christina. Yes, indeed. Everybody's all in it together here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And we find ourselves together here at Tor Poznań, a 4-kilometre circuit with 14 corners, and very difficult corners at that. At the bottom left of your track map there at radar, down at turns 11, 12 and 13 on the exit of turn 10, it is a real pinch point of the circuit, because the drivers have to manage the weight transfer of the truck, not only going from the left to the right and then carrying that pace around the right-hand side at radar itself, but they have to be on the brakes as well, and then on the throttle going down through the gears. It's a massive multitasking mission down there. We've also got small pan on the right hand side of shot and big pan turn 1. 2 difficult corners in themselves. Big pan all about carrying the high speed around there and carrying the momentum as best you can, managing of course the inertia of these trucks. They do weigh 5 tons still, so they've got a lot of power behind them to push them along, so you need to be careful and smooth on your inputs. Small pan, big braking zone there as well, and you have to really swing the truck out on the way down towards turn 7, which is the little kink after it. We saw a bunch of trucks in qualifying going a little bit too deep into there, and it's very easy to do around here, but it's a big challenge for everybody, and of course a great place to be. Christina's back down on the grid for us.
Absolutely, and you talked about 5.5 tons giants on the road, and I'm talking about, well, I do need a truck, but it should be a bit smaller for me, and I just found one. Look at this pace truck we got. It's a daily from Iveco. This time competing. He's not competing with Frank the Tank, as you can call him, inside, and he's also there for our security and for the security of the drivers. And isn't that great? Due to the narrow bridge, it had to be swapped to this beauty. This is our pace truck this weekend, Chaz. This is something for you, I suppose.
I absolutely love it. And to be fair, I did hear in the week running up to it that we would get a replacement pace truck for this round, because the blue Iveco S-Way you see in the background is so tall that unfortunately it's a bit of a close call to get it under the bridge here at Tor Poznań. So I'm afraid we will not be seeing it lead the field completely around this weekend. We do also have, though, our official truck, which is the Ford F-Max. This beautiful orange machine will do all of the inspection laps this season just to make sure there's no debris, no spillages, nothing on the circuit that could affect the racing in a negative way just before we get going and get underway. And we've got a fantastic array of these machines actually in our paddock for the season. There's a beautiful blue and white one in the same livery actually that is sat in the paddock at the innovation camp that we take with us everywhere with the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And we're very grateful to have the support from Ford, and they send us these amazing machines to be a part of the championship. And of course, our drivers love having them as well and love throwing them around the circuits. I can tell you that after some of the inspection laps I've sat in the passenger seat for, they really are pokey bits of kit. They really do move for their size. Just heading down towards turn 6 now, actually, is the Ford F-Max. This is Small Pan, the corner I was on about just a moment ago. It looks like a really large corner when you see it from this camera angle, but it really is not. It's very tight and then opens up on the way out, so the drivers have to realise it's not what they call a constant radius corner. It's not completely smooth all the way around. It sort of tightens in at the beginning of the corner and then opens out on the exit. You can see our flag bearers there at the front with the Polish flag, the flag of the FIA, and then, of course, of the championship logo itself. More of the horns sound on the grid as more personnel will be making their way off in just a moment. The Iveco S-Way pace truck now leaves the grid to do effectively its own lap. And there is Frank ready to go in his Iveco Daily. It's great to see it all stickered up and ready to go. It's just awesome to have something a little different as well for this round of the championship. But this is the thing, it's all about everybody overcoming the challenges of the logistics and all of the tiny details that go into making everything run so smoothly in this championship. And every time I attend the events in person, it's just incredible to see how much effort goes into it and how well they all do in making it all run smoothly, you know. And even when I'm home like I am at the moment back here in the UK, you can still appreciate all these different working parts, or moving parts I should say, and working pieces that go into a race weekend. And hats off to everybody for the fantastic effort they put in. There is our bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Way. This machine has these gorgeous chrome bio-LNG tanks on the side of it instead of conventional diesel, and it reduces the emissions by a colossal amount while not affecting really the power and torque of the machine as well. It's still able to perform very well, as the Iveco S-Way often is. There is the Iveco S-Way. As you see, it is a very, very tall machine. So, unfortunately, because of that close call with the aforementioned bridge down towards turn 14, which you'll see a lot of this weekend, it's not able to make it under there at the necessary speed that it would be able to. There's a certain element of it, because it's a curved bridge, there's only a certain part that we can get it under. But still, we get to see this gorgeous metallic blue machine making its way around the track as much as we can. And hats off to everybody involved for at least making sure that we can give it some airtime. And of course, thank Iveco for their support for the championship as well. We've had the S-Way for a couple of years now, and it's not aging at all. It's a great, great looking machine. And like I say, another one that I've sat in for some installation laps in it is very, very pokey, very quick indeed. But as you see there, they're going to go now onto the karting circuit and then use that as a shortcut back through to the paddock, just before turn 9, that is, because after you get to turn 13, there is, of course, the low bridge before turn 14, and that's where the issues would arise if we tried to get the Iveco S-Way down there. So, the grid has been cleared, the green flag is waved, and our new stand-in Iveco Daily Pace truck is making its way around the circuit now, and I'm sure Frank will still put this thing through its paces as well, with the, I'm sure, added agility due to its size. Be quite interesting to see whether I could get a ride in that thing with Frank at some point over the course of the season. Frank's probably going to leave the field for dead now, though. That's the problem, you see. He's a very exuberant driver, is Frank. He knows what he's doing. And it looks like he's left the field behind already by the time he gets to Big Pan. I can guarantee you he'll be doing all of this with a big smile on his face. He's such a happy guy, is Frank. Wonderful guy to have in the championship. Let's have a look at our grid then, shall we, as he leads them around down towards turn 3, which is Devil's Smile, which is where this camera is located here. We've got Norbert Kish on pole position, and Jochen Hahn, despite the image, is actually alongside him on the front row. Trucks 1 and 2, in positions 1 and 2. Then it's truck 3, P3, Sasha Lenz alongside Antonio Albacete, the man with the most podiums in the championship's history on row 2. Then we have Jamie Anderson in 5th position, doing a great job in qualifying, with Steffi Halm alongside him on the 3rd row. Behind them in 7th position is going to be Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in number 38. He's alongside Andrei Kurzim, who's going to be looking to pick up a few more places from 8th on the grid. He got 2 podiums at Slovakia Ring, so he's going to want to improve on that. Lucas Hahn next up in 9th place. I'm looking forward to seeing what Lucas does this weekend. He's got Louis Requenco alongside him inside the top 10. Then we have the drivers that didn't make it through to Superpole. Mark Taylor in 11th and Stefan Fass in 12th. He's going to need to get a few places gained early on to go after Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. John Newell is 13th with Heinrich Clemens Hecker alongside him on the 7th row. And unfortunately, all on his own on the 8th row of the grid, I told you I can't do maths, we have Jonathan Andre in the number 66 machine. Now the drivers make their way around turn 8, this tight right-hander. You can see as they go over the markings on the karting circuit. To be fair, with the amount of torque and power that our trucks have, they might need to repaint those lines by the end of the weekend. But you can see that while Tor Poznań is still quite a large circuit in terms of the area that it covers, it's still quite a narrow track as well. You could probably get the trucks 3 wide in a lot of places around here, but not comfortably. There are some circuits we go to where we've seen trucks 4 wide before with lots of space to spare. Now here is the bridge that we mentioned, which the drivers will, of course, make their way underneath in the racing trucks very easily because they're a lot shorter than the conventional trucks you see on the road. But the Iveco S-Way would be a little bit too close for comfort under there. And Frank in the pace truck will pull into the pit lane in just a moment's time. The pit lane entrance, though, is on the start-finish straight, so he still needs to lead them around the final corner. And now it's going to be down to Norbert Kish to determine who's going to do what and when. They were bright shoes. Jochen Hahn alongside him on the front row. Certainly excited to get racing underway at Poznań. And for the first time in the championship's history, the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship from Tor Poznań is go. And round 9 of the season gets underway with a big sprint down towards turn 1. It looks like Sasha Lenz has had a great getaway. He's actually cleared Antonio Albacete before turn 1, and Jamie Anderson's going down the inside of him round Big Pan. And Sasha Lenz has got the inside line on Jochen Hahn as well as he tries to go for second place. Side by side further down, we've got Lucas Hahn and Andrei Kurzim. Steffi Halm has gone wide and she's run off the side of the circuit. I'm not sure whether she came back on and made contact with anybody there. Didn't look like there was any major dramas. There's a bit of debris though. I think it's just a bit of the bodywork actually hanging off the front left of Steffi's truck. It looked a lot more dramatic than it probably was there because of all of the dust. But they all made it through okay. Just a bit of bodywork flapping around on Steffi's truck, like I say. Norbert Kish, through the trees, leads the way then here at Tor Poznań. And a great start it was. Once again, of course, he's the one that determines the pace, determines when they go. And it looks like Jochen Hahn has been able to hold on ahead of Sasha Lenz as well, still side by side in the background as everybody jostles for position. But Norby doing what he needs to do. Turn 8, very difficult, but nice and smooth through there. The first race of the day. There's the 2 or 3 Ivecos glued to each other. Steffi Halm, Lucas Hahn, Andrei Kurzim. There's John Newell and Jonathan Andre at the back of the field. But they're staying with the train for the meantime. And that's the thing in truck racing. In the opening laps, you know it's going to be very difficult to overtake because as soon as you try and overtake somebody, if it goes wrong or you have to compromise your exit of a corner, then the person behind will just be on you like a rash But it's Norbert Kish leading down to last right for the first time. You can hear the tyres being punished through there, through turn 14. And down the start-finish straight they go. Jamie Anderson doing a good job up there into 4th place. The bodywork that was on Steffi Halm's truck has now flapped away, which she'll be happy with, because it doesn't mean that there's any risk of a black and orange flag, which is basically a way of saying that your truck has some damage on it, or your racing vehicle has some damage on it that could be unsafe for other competitors. So you need to come into the pit lane, but she's avoided that with the fact that it's fallen off already. So lap 1 completed. Norbert Kish leads by 1.2 seconds, nearly 1.3. Sasha Lenz another couple of tenths of a second behind Jochen Hahn. Jamie Anderson seems to be defending already from Antonio Albacete. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has got ahead of Steffi Halm. Lucas Hahn is second in the Promoters' Cup battle so far. And then he's got Andre Kursin between himself and Stefan Faas in 10th position. Look at all the dust being kicked up here. It's like a sandstorm, isn't it, here at Poznań. You can hear them hard on the brakes going down through the gears. Look at how they concertina up there. Antonio Albacete getting very close to the back of Jamie Anderson's machine. Great shot of them there, going left through the kink at turn 7 and hard on the brakes into turn 8. Still kicking up lots of dust as well, though. Like I've been saying, the grass and the edges of the circuit very dry here at Poznań after the week leading up to it. There is the Promoters' Cup drivers just a bit further down the order at the moment, just trying to settle into a rhythm and see what their pace is like compared to those around them. Just got to take those opening few laps just to sit back a little bit and prepare. There's the size of those penalty markers, by the way. No one quite realises how tall they are. As we did a bit of a track walk, me and my colleague Nadine were walking next to one at the final corner of Misano while we were sorting out a grid photograph. And honestly, they're a good nearly 6 feet high when they're in the ground as well. So when they're not in the ground, as you saw there, they're clearly bigger than 6 feet. They're huge bits of kit, but they're just like a foam, really. It's hollow in the middle, so they don't damage the trucks in any way when they get hit. They're just there to show us when drivers have overdone it. There's one of them having a nice lie down in the grass there off the exit of turn 1. But the field remains line astern for now, and you can expect that over the first race. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the first time this championship has ever been here, so it's the first time that the drivers are getting to experience the track in a race scenario. So they don't know how the tyres are going to last over a race, or what even the dirty air is like. Now, they're not the most aerodynamically dependent machines in the world, but still, when you're following the truck in front of you, you can still have some negative effect from the fact that you just sat behind them the whole time. You can miss your own braking points, you can miss corner entry as well. It's just knowing the little details and nuances of a circuit like this that is very, very important. So when we're here for the first time, you'll see some people taking it easy. Steffi Halm certainly not taking it easy and trying to catch back up with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, though, in her Iveco. She's got Lucas Hahn and Andre Kursin behind. 2 more Ivecos. Good to see Lucas inside the top 10. He's running well at the moment. As, oh dearie me, that is Stefan Faas at the side of the road in his number 24 Scania. And that's big for the Promoters' Cup Championship already, because Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has been opening up his championship lead. And Stefan, with a DNF, looking like he's going to give up a lot of big points here. It's a big, big shame. Apparently it could be just an engine problem. No details yet on exactly what that is. But hopefully it's something they can get fixed between races. We've got a really interesting programme, actually, out here this weekend at Poznań, because the races finished quite early on in the day. We've got the second race not long after 3:30 in the afternoon. Usually we're quite a bit later than that in the day. And tomorrow we're going to be finished by about 4:20 in the afternoon. It's a very early finish for everybody in the paddock, with the races starting not long after 9 AM as well over the course of the weekend. Sorry, qualifying starting not long after 9 AM. There's Jonathan Andre at the back of the field, just trying to catch back up with the group ahead of him. He's not quite on the same pace as them at this moment in time. As you see there, all of our trucks are powered by 100% renewable HVO diesel. A lot of them are carrying their green, what they call a fifth wheel, on the back of their trucks. You'll see the little coupling there that's got this green cover over it, which carries the branding and the image, of course, of the HVO diesel that our trucks run on. As Heinrich Clemens Hecker goes deep at turn 6. I said earlier that we had a few trucks doing that. And once again, he's overdone it. He overdid it a couple of times in qualifying as well, so it's certainly a corner that he's been struggling with over the course of the day so far. So unfortunately, it's not quite gone right for him there, has it? He's lost a lot of time because of that as well. There's Sasha Lenz now moving out to the right-hand side on Jochen Hahn. I was just having a quick look at sector times to see if anybody was really making a big difference in a specific sector of the circuit, but no. There's nobody that's really standing out too much right now. Norbert Kish is opening up a gap, but not at his usual pace. Obviously, it's a bit more of a level playing field this weekend as everybody gets used to this new circuit on the calendar. There's John Newell having a look at Louis Requenco. There is Heinrich Clemens Hecker after losing a bunch of time. He's now waiting to see what happens with this battle in front of him. It's the number 64 Iveco being chased by the number 18 MAN. And there goes Heinrich Clemens Hecker in the Scania. Still kicking up dust there. The cameras are going to be filled with dust by the end of the weekend. As John Newell sends it down the inside, then into Devil's Smile in turn 3. Louis Requenco affords him the space on the inside. I don't think that John managed to get it in the inside there enough to open the door properly. Good battling going on though between all of these guys at the top of the field. You can see Jochen Hahn trying his very best to hold on ahead of Sasha Lenz. There is Mark Taylor. Just inside the top 10 at the moment is Mark as well, due to the retirement of Stefan Faas and Heinrich Clemens Hecker having that issue. He's going to get overall championship points here. He's already got 7 to his name for this season. And in the Promoters' Cup, Mark has 57 points so far. He's 4th in the standings there, but he hasn't had a podium yet. He's one of only 2 drivers to not have a Promoters' Cup podium, Heinrich Clemens Hecker being one of them, although I'm sure he has at one point, actually, Heinrich Clemens Hecker. But for some reason on my printout that I've got here, he's not got any podiums listed. I'll have to check on that between races. But Lucas Hahn having a fantastic return to the championship so far, up there in 8th place. You could argue it's not the most groundbreaking of performances, but still, he's been out of the truck for quite a while since last season. And he's back in now to push on and do what he can do. He's ahead of Andre Kurzim at the moment, which is no easy feat anyway. Andre is a multiple race winner in the championship, regular podium visitor, and not just through reverse grid races either. He's got a bunch of them on merit from the first races of the day, races 1 and 3, where everything's determined by qualifying. Looks like John Newell's just kicked up some dust in the background in his pursuit of Louis Requenco. That unfortunately is not for the Promoters' Cup podium position either. Mark Taylor could get some silverware from that. It would be his first Promoters' Cup podium of the season if he stays where he is. As here comes Andre Kurzim down the inside of Lucas Hahn. He looks to the inside though, goes defensive. Is he going to run deep? Is Kurzim going to be able to get the run off the corner? No, he's not. He's trying it though. You can see the trucks hopping and skipping their way out of the corner as they change up through the gears. There's Heinrich Clemens Hecker going down the inside of John Newell now. So he gets the move done and up into 12th position. John's not going to take that one lying down though. He's going to want to come back at him straight away. We've got a black and white flag for Jochen Hahn for turn 5, I believe, for track limits. That's for hitting one of the penalty markers. One of the penalty markers has completely gone out of the final corner now. Sasha Lenz moves back over to the right-hand side again. He's not sitting in the hot air behind Jochen Hahn. So in this championship, the trucks are governed to 100 miles an hour, 160 kilometres an hour. So if the drivers go over that, they can be penalised for overspeeding. It's all on safety grounds. At the end of the day, it's a 5-ton racing machine. You don't want them really doing over 100 miles an hour just because of the safety aspect. But basically, the drivers have to be careful of that. So when you sit in the slipstream behind another truck in front of you, there's no point, because you're just going to get to 100 miles an hour. Yeah, sure, you may get there a little bit quicker than the truck in front of you. But once you hit 100 miles an hour, there is no point then pushing on and keeping your foot pinned to the floor, because all you'll be doing is heating up your truck and sitting behind the other one for no reason whatsoever. You need to make sure that you dive out and get some cool air on the front of your machine and keep the engine within a decent operating window. The HVO diesel-powered racing machine, I should say, as well. It's cleaned up over 90% of the emissions in the championship. It's been a real innovation in moving forwards. And of course, it doesn't just affect the racing either, but it's the industry that gets involved with these sorts of changes too. This championship is the perfect testing ground for a lot of sustainability methods and technologies and all sorts that can go back into the industry. That's why we love this sort of racing. As Lucas Hahn still in front of Andrei Kurzim. He's holding on very well for the moment. Mark Taylor just sat behind them as well, waiting for his opportunity to come from what the guys are doing ahead. There you can see the bridge with a couple of people walking across as well, actually. They'll get a great view from up there. Antonio Albacetti's not been really setting the world alight in this race at the moment. He started 4th on the grid. He's dropped down to 5th behind Jamie Anderson, and he's not been able to stick with him since. Jamie's having a good run with his Lowen Power teammate Sasha Lenz just in front. The pair of them teamed up for the 2023 season. They were going to team up for the 2022 season, but unfortunately a late entry by Jamie meant that Sasha was forced into going for another teammate. He and Shane Brereton actually teamed up. There's Louis Requenco now with a bit of breathing room back to Heinrich Clementeca behind him, but there's no breathing room between these pair, is there? Lucas Hahn right under pressure now from Andrei Kurzim. Andrei is going to throw everything he can at this. Lucas raced here in the virtual version of this championship, actually, on the simulators over winter. There's a bit of a bump there, actually, from Andrei Kurzim on the back of Lucas. Lucas was the one doing a lot of the bumping, actually, in the virtual aspect when we were here. It was very entertaining, but obviously not what we want to see here. We don't want them making intentional contact with each other. Andrei Kurzim's got a fantastic run out of turn 5 there. He's on the outside for turn 6, and if he can carry the speed around the outside, he'll have the inside line for turn 7. Oh, Lucas runs a little bit wide. There's a tiny bit of contact, wheel-to-wheel contact as well. Hopefully that hasn't affected Andrei's truck too much, but this is bringing Mark Taylor into the mix as well now in 10th position. He could very well get amongst this. Oh, Andrei Kurzim has a big slide mid-corner. He took quite the whack on that front right. You've just got to hope that it hasn't affected that front right tyre, because they can be quite fragile like that sometimes, these trucks. Obviously, wheel-to-wheel contact is far from ideal. It's okay when it's the rears, because sometimes, obviously, they have 4 wheels on the rear, so they have 2 inner tyres, and then they have the outer tyres as well. So sometimes if you do get a puncture or damage to the outside wheel, the inside wheel can make up for it. So we've seen trucks a lot of the time before running at some near 95% pace with just 5 wheels instead of the 6. Let's see what Mark Taylor can do here, though, if he manages to pick off either of these pair. If they start battling again, it'll be a perfect scenario for him. The counter on the top left of your screen, by the way, is how many laps we've completed. So we're on lap 9 out of 11 in this race at the moment. Norbert Kish leads the way. Truck 1 P1, Truck 2 P2, Truck 3 P3. That was a bit more of a tongue twister than I bargained for. Jochen Hahn, second place at the moment. Sasha Lenz in third position. Jamie Anderson in fourth, 2 seconds clear now of Antonio Albacetti. We've had a black and white flag for John Newell for turn 9, which is the right-hand kink, before Oaks, which is turn 10. so he's overdone it on the track limits there, unfortunately, and had a bit of a telling off as John. He's just there behind Heinrich Clemens-Hecker at this moment in time. They're very close together at this point of the race. And there is Jonathan Andre, struggling a little bit by the look of it this weekend, is Jonathan. I'll tell you who's not struggling though, and that's Sascha Lenz. He's having a fight now with Jochen Hahn. He's filling those mirrors with the bright purple machine, with the flashes of green on it as well. It's even better because that fifth wheel little coupling on the back of it matches the bright green roll cage and chassis rails that Sascha has on the number 3 MAN for this season. Jamie Anderson not far behind either. He wants a piece of the pie. He's hoping to take some silverware back for his newborn. Mark Taylor's fallen away a little bit from Hahn and Kurzim there in 10th place, just as they've picked up the pace again over this previous lap or so. Now that they're not battling as hard, they're just going to be a little bit more open to their ultimate pace. Norbert Kish is putting in the ultimate pace at the front of the field though. Just to compare the lap times, his last lap was a 1:59.0. Actually, Jochen Hahn doing a 1:58.9, so Jochen was quicker than Norby on that lap. Obviously getting the wake-up call from Sascha right behind him is what he needed. Sascha Lenz filling the mirrors, Jamie Anderson also filling Sascha's mirrors, but just from a bit more of a far distance. The two of them are teammates. There's a bit of a wobble there for Jochen Hahn. He kisses the dust on the left-hand side of the circuit. And that left rear just stepped out momentarily on him, didn't it? Did not look friendly at all, that. As now Steffi Halm has caught up to Jose Eduardo Rodriguez as well. He's having a good race behind Antonio Albacete. He's just going to be sitting there waiting and basically picturing what Antonio was doing and just giving it a go himself. There's always chance to learn on a circuit like this when you follow somebody as experienced as Antonio. That's not to say Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is not good though. He's very, very good. He's been a real star in everything he's raced in. But Sascha Lenz is properly putting Jochen Hahn under pressure here. I'm expecting he's going to try and move when it comes down to the final lap, because then Jochen won't have much time to come back at him. He's just got to be careful that his teammate Jamie doesn't get over-exuberant here and get involved in this as well. Jamie's on for a good, strong result. He got 20 points out of the first race meeting of the season for him anyway, did Jamie. We didn't have him with us at Misano, but it was great to see him going well at Slovakia Ring. So I'm excited now with the potential of this battle on the horizon to see what he can do. One more lap to go here then at Tor Poznań for the first race of the day. And there is Jochen Hahn, second place right now. Norbert Kish has opened his gap up now to 4.8 seconds. Might be even more than that now they cross the line once again. 4.9 this time. Norby was 4 tenths quicker on that previous lap actually than Jochen Hahn. But we're on to the final lap of the race now. And it's Jochen Hahn defending from Sascha Lenz, defending from Jamie Anderson. The three of them glued to one another as they leave turn 1, kick up all of the dust down towards turn 2. Leave an absolute smokescreen for our cameraman. Sascha looks down the inside, but only half-heartedly, just tries to unsettle Jochen however he can. But to be honest, if there's anybody in this field that won't get unsettled, it's Jochen Hahn. He's so cool, calm and collected. Even in his interviews, Jochen knows exactly what to say and when. Delivered with pin-sharp accuracy and great dry humour as well from Jochen. But Sascha's throwing everything at this. Very late on the brakes, they're really closing in. You have to be careful with the brakes over the course of these races. Obviously, with such a big machine, the braking capability has to be massive. You can hear a bit of a spin-up of the rears there as well by one of the trucks behind as they leave turn 6. Antonio Albacete under pressure here from the young superstar Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He's been great to watch all season, and he's just getting better and better each time we see him. But up at the front with just a couple of corners left to go then as they come now down through turn 10 into 11, 12 and 13. It's going to be Norbert Kish that makes his way out of the final corner. Oh, he's going to make his way into the final corner, I should say. This is called Last Right, turn number 14. And awaiting him will be the checkered flag And that's going to be win number 7 of the season for Norbert Kish. 5 pole positions, 7 race victories. That is now 5 in a row here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship this season. Jochen Hahn is second with Sascha Lenz in 3rd place. And Jamie Anderson with a great 4th place to start his weekend off. Very, very well done to all of them involved. In terms of the Promoters' Cup, it's going to be Jose Eduardo Rodriguez that takes the win there. 2nd place is going to go the way of Lucas Hahn. And Mark Taylor gets an overall top 10 finish and will, of course, take a podium in the Promoters' Cup. That's going to be, I believe, his first silverware of the campaign this season. Very well done to Mark. John Newell had a very busy race there, finishing just behind Clemens Hecker in 13th place. Jonathan Andre 14th after struggling a bit for pace there. And Stefan Faas, unfortunately, retiring when his main rival in the Promoters' Cup gets full points. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez once again doing everything by the book, exactly what he needed to do. But there is Norbert Kish, once again running on a dominant form here in the championship. Can anybody stop him? Can anybody stop the team? Can they stop Baloo as well? But another solid top 3 where we have trucks 1, 2 and 3 in positions 1, 2 and 3. It's a theme that we do sometimes get in this championship. But they were the 3 top drivers to beat last season, going down to a great battle at the final round of the season. And we are certainly shaping up for that once again, although Antonio Albertetti doing very well in the championship so far in 3rd place. Lovely drift there by Jamie Anderson. Top marks for effort, Jamie. He's always an entertainer. And at the end of the day, if they get a chance to drift the trucks around here, then why not? It's not the widest circuit that we go to, but it's got these long, smooth flowing corners, which really does invite the drivers to drift the machines around. Steffi Halm will be pretty happy to have even just survived that race, considering the scary moment that she had on the first lap, running wide out onto the dust, bodywork flying everywhere. But she gets away with it, and that's just going to be a cosmetics job, I think, on the front left of Harry Vecco. The bodies are just made of fiberglass in most parts, the bumpers and the side skirts and so on. If you do see these trucks in the paddock, you'll see the personnel taking the body parts off. Like, they do not weigh a thing. It's quite interesting, actually. A lot of them can just be removed with one person. You can just chuck them to one side, and a lot of them do just throw them to one side and out of the way once they've got to do some work on the truck. But into the pit lane they go. And it's Norbert Kish leading them in, of course. Jochen Hahn just behind. No Promoters' Cup glory this year for Jamie Anderson. Because of his finishing positions last season, he's now in the Titan category, so it's just for overall honours. And there is the number 24 of Stefan Faas. Not quite sure what's happened with that machine yet, I'm afraid. So hopefully that gets figured out and they know what the issue is. There is Norbert Kish, Truck 1, P1. And thanks again to my wonderful colleague Alice, who's just done a little bit of digging in the background for the statistics, and that is indeed Mark Taylor's first podium in the Promoters' Cup. So very well done to Mark. That's his first silverware in the championship, and it's going to be his 4th top 10 finish overall. Everybody now is probably going to go and get some lunch and prepare for the next race, which will come later on today. It's not too long until said race gets underway, though. But Norbert Kish, for now, will be soaking up the atmosphere of taking that first win of the day. Fist in the air, thumbs up, and a very happy boy once more. Another great delivery by the team at Revace Racing. Once again, an unstoppable force in this championship, and another event where they are nailing it. They've put a real extensive effort this season into documenting their championship as well, with their own videos and photography and social media efforts. We often see a lot more and more teams starting to do that, actually, time and time again. It's always lovely to get those behind-the-scenes shots and see what a team goes through over the course of the weekend. And obviously it's always good to have people on the ground. And we've got our very own Christina on the ground there as well, standing by, I believe, for an interview with Norby. Once he's got everything ready and he's got his hat on and all sorted, maybe cooled down a little bit as well, because not only is it hot there, but obviously it's hot in the cabs as well. Sasha Lenz giving the team a hug. A great podium for Sasha. You can see Steve Miller just on the left-hand side there as well. I like the bib, Steve. I've got 2 of those actually here in my office because admittedly, and I apologise to Barbara a lot for this, for last season, but I kept forgetting to give the bibs back. Well, I have 2 of them here, which I will bring with me to the Nürburgring. That's when I'll next be on site as well. There's Jochen Hahn and Lucas Hahn. The one on the left is the father. Lucas is a big boy. He's a great, great lad, though, is Lucas. I love him. The first time I met Lucas, he nearly broke my thumb with such a firm handshake. But he's a great lad. He loves his truck racing and obviously loves trying to follow in the footsteps of his father. The fantastic success that Jochen has had. And it's a really wonderful effort, a fantastic family-run team at Team Hahn Racing. A nice busy atmosphere down there in the pit lane now. And you can see the fans on the rooftop as well above. Get a great view down on everything so they can see the trucks lining up in the pit lane, see all the atmosphere and soak it up for themselves. And here's a look at your race result then. Norbert Kish takes the win by just under 5 seconds from, Jochen Hahn. Sasha Lenz finishing in 3rd position, with Jamie Anderson just behind in 4th. Then we had a bit of a gap back to Antonio Albertetti. I'd be interested to know if there's any issues with Antonio's truck there, because he didn't seem as on pace in the race as he was in qualifying. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez takes the win in the Promoters' Cup, 6th overall. Steffi Halm was 7th ahead of Lucas Hahn, who takes 2nd place in the Promoters' Cup. Andre Curzin finishes 9th, and Mark Taylor gets a top 10 and, of course, a Promoters' Cup podium for the first time. Louis Requenco was next up in 11th ahead of Heinrich Clemens Hecker. Then it was John Newell in 13th place. Jonathan Andre rounds out the field in 14th. But we're going to go down into the pit lane to speak to Norbert Kish. He's with Christina.
He is, and we decided right now to stop the engine. I think we can do much better an interview right now with the engine stopped. Although we love to hear the rumbling Baloo, of course. Thank you very much. And the first check is always the tires. Congratulations first from me. But how is the tire management and everything? This is a brand new track. We're here in Poland as we talk to you. And how was it competing and racing here?
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot of unknowns before the race, but in the end, it was very good for us. Good start, good first lap. Stayed out of the fight, which was happening behind me, so I could pull away a little bit. And really happy to take the first victory here in Poland.
Absolutely. And Chest Record also told us then one of the turns, and I spoke to the Polish personnel, is called the Devil's Smile. So that's quite rough sometimes here on track. Which parts did you see are the most exciting for you, or maybe the most dangerous?
Oh yeah, for sure. The first turn is very difficult. Being it really fast and really long turn, so you really have to be confident there. And then, then comes in the middle of the circuit, the technical part, and then, again, the second to last turn, when we go in between the penalty markers to the left and right and break into this right in the forest, because there is the trees very close. That turn looks really nice, and it's also very, very difficult to do it right. So, probably these are the 2 favorites, turn 1 and then this one here, which is turn 12, 13 or something like that. So, overall, really nice experience.
Sounds great. From the woods up to the podium. Congratulations, Norbert Kish. Enjoy.
Thanks very much, Christina. Yep, great to hear from Norbert Kish. And the thing is as well is that this is a very different circuit to a lot of others that we go to. It's got a lot of the tight, twisty elements of it, but it's also got the long, smooth corners to go with it as well. And it all feels like it's very compact here because you've got trees around you constantly. You just feel like you're racing around a really small forest, basically. There's no simpler way of saying it. There is Mr. Revech as well, on hand to congratulate Norbert Kish. It's great to see Mr. Revech actually at the event as well. It's lovely to have him around. I had the pleasure of meeting him last season when I was commentating at the Hungara Ring on a separate event. His son does a lot of racing as well in Formula cars and open wheelers. And it was really, really cool to meet him. The man behind Reveish, of course, one of the biggest logistics companies in Poland, I believe. Hungary, my apologies. If not the biggest as well. And now they welcome Norby over to the podium. There's Dominic and Janine as well, guiding Norby towards said podium. It's a fantastic podium setup here, actually, at Poznań. And there he is. Norbert Kisz walks up to take the top spot of the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for the decoration for the first race of Europe.
And you can see all of the media all ready to go there. You can hear the podium announcer as well, of course, ready to welcome them on.
Start with overall classification. Third place, Sasha Lenz.
We're going to go for third place now. Sasha Lenz, the first up onto the podium.
Second place, Jochen Hahn.
Jochen Hahn second.
Also from Germany. And the first place, the winner, Norbert Kisz.
And Norbert Kisz taking the top step of the podium, of course, once again. That's his 5th one in a row. After taking all 4 wins at Slovakia in an incredible performance there. And now they're going to get the trophies delivered up to our drivers. There's Davide Califano handing the trophy over to Sasha Lenz. Sasha very happy to start his weekend off with a podium. Jochen Hahn gets his trophy as well for second position. Again, like I say, Jochen's probably got a warehouse by now for trophies instead of a trophy room. But another winner's trophy for Norbert Kisz. Fantastic trophies here this weekend as well, very unique. And there you go, the national anthem of Hungary for Norbert Kisz, who takes the race victory. And a perfect start to his weekend, and a very strong one for his main title competitors as well. They all pose for pictures. They will change their hats. Sasha Lenz decides that someone today is going to get a free Goodyear hat. Jochen follows on with the trend as well.
This is the photo opportunity. Sasha Lenz, Jochen Hahn, Norbert Kisz.
And there you go, big smiles all round from these guys. A great podium. They're going to spray the champagne. Probably not on each other because they have another race in only a couple of hours' time, so they don't want to be drying out the race overalls just yet. They're going to soak the crowd and the media instead. Everybody in pink bibs go running in all directions. And another fantastic vibe here from the championship. Norby also giving away his Goodyear hat. And there, down at turn 5. Is that down at turn 5? Where on earth is... Doesn't look like turn 5. Actually, that might be just before turn 4, actually, where Stefan Fars's truck was. You could see the Krona record run machine there as well. There is the championship standings after that race. Norbert Kisz now with 20 points clear of Jochen Hahn. Antonio Albacete just 7 points ahead of Sasha Lenz now as he continues to recover after a difficult first round at Misano. Andrei Kurzim next up in 5th place. He's ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Stefan Faas really close to him as well, of course, in the overall championship. Steffi Halm in 8th. She should overtake Stefan in the next race with it all going well. Jamie Anderson now on 30 points, up there in 9th, and John Newell still inside the championship top 10 as well for NWT Motorsport. Mark Taylor just behind, moves ahead of Jonathan Andre and Louis Requenco, with Heinrich Clementecker and Lucas Hahn now on the board in 15th place with 3 points towards his overall tally. And in just a moment's time, I believe we will get the Promoters' Cup podium as well, which I've been told, and I apologise for the mistake, will include Mark Taylor for the second time. It's not his first podium. He inherited a podium due to penalties at the Slovakia ring, which is why I got that wrong. So it wasn't on our screens, but yeah, in checking the results, he's had another podium back at the Slovakia ring. Here is the Iveco with the Corona Record Run trailer on it. It's amazing, the Corona E-trailer. It did look like it was going the wrong way around the circuit. I think it's just based on how they get it onto the track. They have to go the other way. There is Mark Taylor and Lucas Hahn, who takes his first podium of the season. And then the race winner in the Promoters' Cup, of course, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, once more taking his 6th win in the category this season. There's Davide Califano once again giving the trophy over to Mark Taylor. It's his first time actually on the podium, essentially, for Mark Taylor this weekend. After getting the penalties applied to drivers ahead of him in the previous one, he inherited the silverware. Lucas Hahn gets his first trophy of the season, so he's off to a good start for his weekend. And Jose Eduardo Rodriguez gets one as well for the team.
And now it's time for the national anthem of Portugal.
And there you go, the national anthem of Portugal. And there is your podium in the Promoters' Cup. Mark Taylor, 3rd place, Lucas Hahn 2nd, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez 1st. They will now change the caps for another photo opportunity. And smiles all around from our top 3. And a great first race for them as well. They all had their own individual battles to fight. Obviously, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez trying to get past Antonio Albacete. Mark Taylor trying to catch up with the 2 drivers ahead of him, Andrei Kurzim and Lucas Hahn. And Lucas, being the driver, holding off Andrei Kurzim. A spray of the champagne for the first time this weekend for those guys. And a cheers to one another. And a very well done to all 3. They're going to be hoping that their weekend continues like that with more silverware, of course. But we've got still 3 races to come over the course of the weekend. We've got another race later on today where the top 8 finishing positions from that one will be reversed, which does put Lucas Hahn on pole position alongside Steffi Halm. There is the Promoters' Cup Championship, though, and a big gap now for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez of 28 points over Stefan Faas. John Newell still in 3rd place, just 1 point ahead of his compatriot Mark Taylor. Louis Requenco on 62 points ahead of Heinrich Clementecker, Jonathan Andre, and Lucas Hahn starts his season with 15 points straight off the bat. So a nice high score for Lucas and he's going to certainly be climbing up the order as the championship goes on. As we've said, though, he's not doing as many races over this season as a lot of his competitors, but still, we're excited to see how he gets on once again, because he made a certain big splash last year, winning a race overall at the Nürburgring, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of that to come from him. But there's now calm over the circuit at Tor Poznań as the sun shines and the wind just sweeps its way across the circuit through the gorgeous scenery and greenery. But we're going to have a look back at the highlights of race 1 and see exactly how that one went. Everyone was in high spirits for the first ever race in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship around here at Poznań. And with the grid walk underway, the fans are able to get up close and personal as well and see the machines, including our new pace truck Iveco Daily, with Frank the Tank, our loyal pace truck driver, at the wheel. Norbert Kish did exactly what he needed to do and got a tidy start. There was a slightly scary moment for Steffi Halm out of turn 1 and 2, but luckily the bodywork that was flapping around was disposed of very quickly. Jochen Hahn launched into a defence over Sascha Lenz, while Jamie Anderson held off Antonio Albacete. They kept our marshals hard at work, but thank you again to all the marshals for being here. Stefan Faas was certainly a man that greeted the marshals in as close a way as possible, and not a way he would have enjoyed. Heinrich Clemens-Hecker nearly joined him going off the circuit as well, and in the middle of the pack we had some great fights. Jamie Anderson catching up with the trucks ahead. Norbert Kish was leading the way, but Lucas Hahn and Andre Kurzim giving us some great entertainment just inside the top 10 as well. Sascha Lenz looked certain to take second place by the end of the race, but Jochen Hahn held on well enough, and so too did Norbert Kish, taking the overall victory, his 7th of the 2023 campaign. And another podium, of course, for Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz as well. But we're going to go back down to Christina, who's there in the pit lane too, for another chat.
Thank you very much, and we take chats with all the champions today. So, José Rodrigues, parabéns. Uma corrida especial, porque estamos aqui de novo em Polónia, primeira vez. Como foi?
Foi uma boa corrida, é uma pista desconhecida para todos. Conseguimos imprimir sempre um bom ritmo. Acabámos em 6º lugar, o que para nós é uma mais-valia, uma honra. E vamos atacar agora na próxima corrida.
So he said, of course, it's new for everyone to the crew, so you get to know the track first of all. But he said, yeah, we were doing really great, found our rhythm, and this is important too. And not also the podium premium he's getting, he's also in the points, of course, in the championship. So olhaste para frente, para Albacete, ou também para trás, para Steffi Halm?
Não, ia atento aos dois, a procurar a melhor possibilidade de ultrapassar o Albacete, mas sempre atento à Steffi, porque a qualquer momento podia se intrometer e tirar-nos o lugar também.
So he was in between Antonio Albacete and Steffi Halm, and so he said, yeah, of course we need to look forward because he wanted to attack sometimes Albacete, but also on the back because he knows that Steffi Halm is also a fierce driver. Segundo andar agora, no dia, race number 2, quais como se diz, expressões?
Vamos tentar fazer um bom arranque como agora e depois, se conseguirmos sair bem da primeira curva, olhar o máximo para a frente e tentar fazer a melhor posição possível.
Obrigada. Até logo. So he said, because ahead of race number 2, he needs to check how to get out of the first turn. As you heard from our commentators, it's the witch turn, so it's very, very difficult. But you know, everyone is quite in a good mood right now. We've seen race number 1, we've seen great action, we've seen great race action. We're really looking forward for race number 2. So it's time to stay in the shades for us, and it's not going to be long, and then we're going to see you again here on this brand new track for us here in Poland. Isn't that nice, from Tor Poznań? So see you in a couple of minutes then. The alarm clock is set, and right now we want to show you the best of pictures of the day. Thanks to our commentators staying with us all the time, and thanks to you. Tune in.